right, guys. My name is Dr. Cordy Williams, hashtag Megaphone Marine, hashtag 1776 Forever Free. Welcome to the weekly town hall. And I have to say, after watching those videos, I was moved, touched, and inspired by what we're doing and the 2.1 million people that are veterans like myself and Oren and a host of others. And, you know, I don't know about the other claims. Those are kind of crazy. I just want to thank the press for the beautiful write-ups and stories that have betrayed me a certain way this week. And God bless you guys. And we love you anyways. And, you know, I'd love to find out where the whitening strips are, where Gavin gets those, the enunciating and how good he is with his words. God bless him too. But with those words, I'm going to kind of turn it over to the beautiful, loving, sweet man, Oren Heatley, for his words, our fearless leader. How are you today, buddy?
I am doing amazing. And Cordy, I think that you and I have both been dragged through the mud a little bit this week, but you know what? We're all cleaned off and ready to go, rock and roll. I am so glad to be here with you and everybody else. Our teams are amazing. And, you know, as much as they try and paint this as a partisan movement, as you know, something that it is not, people know the truth. And, you know, I don't have to defend what we're doing. There's 2.1 million people that have signed in that agree with us for their own personal reasons that have nothing to do with who Cordy Williams is, your personal beliefs, or who I am and my personal beliefs. It has everything to do with what's going on in their life right now, real time. People they're suffering, they've been hurt. The young lady that just mentioned, SB 145. I've got to say that Scott Wiener is one of the folks who are launching part of the smear campaign against us right now. Scott Wiener from San Francisco, Senator Scott Wiener, is the author of SB 145, which reduces the penalty for certain sex offenses. It reduces the age of consent to 10 years old, and it makes it not necessary any longer for people to register as a sex offender under certain conditions. But from what I understand with SB 145, if there is less than 10 years difference between the child victim and the adult perpetrator, then it's no longer a crime. So, I mean, SB 145, commonly referred to as the pedophile bill, but Scott Wiener is on the attack, and he is one of Gavin Newsom's supporters, and Gavin Newsom himself has signed off on that bill, making it law.
It's really interesting, Oren. I mean, his last name especially is kind of fascinating.
We're not going to dwell on that, Cordy.
No, definitely not. Of course not. Of course not. But the last guy with the last name of that, it didn't turn out too well for him. But at any rate, let's move on to Miss Robin McCrae, the beautiful, extraordinary young lady.
The keeper of record,
there
Robin
you go.
McCrae.
Oh, well, are you ready for an update?
Oh my goodness.
Last week when we had our town hall, we knew numbers were still coming in, and the volunteers did not disappoint. Between last week and people entering their accounts the rest of this week, we gained, well, let me remind everyone where we were last week. We were at 2,117,700. We gained an additional 8,000 signatures posted, bringing us to 1,125,700.
2 million.
What?
You said 1
or
million.
2 million. Did I say one?
You missed it by
I'm
only
sorry.
a million, Robin.
2,125,700. 2.1.
Good Lord.
No.
But wait, there's more.
The one thing I do want to share is we know how well the mailers did, the mailroom did, the people that requested petitions and were sent and returned one, and how our volunteers rocked the volunteer or the recall and gathering signatures. You have to know that petitions still came in right up to the day, and in fact, they're still coming in. We had to FedEx overnight some petitions directly to our authorized personnel and or even directly to the registrar of voters, we refer to as ROVs, directly to the county offices. So while we know what we collected, and for fun, we're going to collect every signature and count it that came in after the March 17th, 5 o'clock post office, just know what we actually collected. But we are still in the process of trying to figure out which signatures actually made it to the county offices. But all that aside, it speaks volumes how many Californians stepped up, each single person pen to paper, for 125,000 signatures. Yes.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
that's exciting. And from my count, I can tell, let me open this other spreadsheet, because people are still sending me receipts, but I do know that 2,166,000 receipts have been submitted to document signatures turned in to the county.
Wow.
So congratulations to everyone.
Wow.
And Randy, I'll send you these numbers in a text so you have them, but
Okay.
pretty exciting.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, go ahead, Mikey.
Because a real important point here, and Robin, you hit me this when I was on the air last week with Orrin and Randy, is how many that they've already buried. And by the way, for everybody out there, understand there's a gross number that we turned in. And as Orrin always likes to say, it is a pass-fail test. And this just in, we're passing because they've already verified
1,188,000 signatures verified.
and they've only recognized
1,454,000. Wait, okay, I'm sorry, it's been a really long day. Verified 1,454,716. Valid, out of those that they have checked and rechecked, 1,188,000.
So to put
Sorry,
that in
guys.
simplistic terms for everybody, and I'm going to relieve Robin of her math duties for a second,
Yeah.
because her eyes are getting cross-eyed. Let me explain this simplistically. Pass-fail is on verified signatures. They've already verified close to, between just all our friends on the phone and watching on Zoom and Facebook, close to 1.2 million, all right? They've only recognized that we've turned in, I got to keep it simple for me, Robin, only recognize we've turned in about 1.5 million. The next report will recognize about another 500,000. Fair enough, Robin?
Yes.
Okay, that means, folks, that in the hopper yet are about another 600 and some odd thousand. Now we verify at an 85% rate right now, give or take a few percent.
Close.
Close, all right? Now, think about this for a second. There's about another 600,000 that they haven't even touched yet, probably close to 700,000. No matter everybody worried in this whole process about what are they going to pull? What are they going to do? How can they possibly? What if the J's wrong? What if it's out of the box? Let me tell you something. They can't even possibly fudge that much to get us anywhere under that 1.5 million. This is going on the ballot, which explains why Gavin Newsom is going on the offensive. And Randy, I'm going to jump in here. Randy said it the best of anybody this week. Who is Gavin running against right now, Randy?
Gavin Newsom.
He's running against Gavin Newsom. And so Gavin knows, my friends and country Californians, that this is on the ballot, whether you like it or not. Sorry, I just like saying that, right? And the reality is
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. And Gavin is running right, he's running left, well, literally, and running all over the place, trying to do what he can, But I'm sorry, Gavin. It's kind of like you're trying to say, well, maybe there was a foul call, but the game pretty much, dude, is already over. We have a 600,000, give or take, point lead, if I can use a sports metaphor, and there's only like a minute left on the clock. Good luck with that.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. That was awesome. I love that. And I was trying to figure out the numbers too. So I'm glad the netters broke it down, because he always has words of wisdom and love. We love you, buddy. Randy, go ahead, my brother. You got
Hey,
the
guys,
floor, beautiful man.
this has been a great week. I mean, it's kept me busy. I'll certainly tell you that. Let's just cut right to the chase. As he has now hired 11 of the biggest named political consultants in America to come after us. And when I say us, I mean the people on this call and right here tonight. And these guys have got hundreds and hundreds of years of political experience, and they're coming after us, and they've made no bones about it, and they're launching missiles and bombs every day. They held back-to-back press conferences, all trying to paint us as racist, as anti-Asian, anti-Jewish, anti-LGBT, and on and on and on. And the silly thing,
Swing and a miss.
but the crazy thing is, reporters actually covered these nonsensical, bizarre press conferences that were led, 2 of the 3 were led by State Senator Scott Wiener from San Francisco. And, weenie boy, as somebody once said. So, I mean,
Randy.
I can say that. I can get away with that.
Damn it.
My people. So anyway, Scott Wiener went ahead and he just was lambasting and shooting everything he could to go ahead and leave a mark on us. And I think it failed. But sadly, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Sacramento Bee, especially the Bee, I'm very disappointed in the Bee, came out and just basically took the bait and they took the bait from the California, Democrats and all the campaign consultants, and they painted us as being, right-wing extremists and once again, Proud Boys and militia people, and really said incredibly hurtful things about many of us. And, we had to fight back, and we fought back with all of our ammunition. And at the end of the day, we're prepared for this. And it's because this campaign is not about any of us here on this call. This campaign is about Gavin Newsom, and we're running against Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom is running against himself. And so I just want to let anybody know, if you keep getting phone calls from media members who try to box you into a corner to say, are you an official spokesperson for the campaign? What is your position on this? That's why I'm here, and that's why Oren's here, and that's why Mike's here. And, just call us. I don't care the time of the day or night. We will talk to people constantly. But again, on top of that, we've had a phenomenal week with the media. I mean, that's kind of the bad news. And then the good news is we were everywhere. I mean, we were on CNN and Fox News and MSNBC and the radio station. And I mean, we had an incredible time this week. So that's a great credit to all of us. And we're not stopping. Like Oren said to a reporter this week, the campaign's now just getting underway. And we're prepared for the boogeyman offensive, I guess you can call it. But the only boogeyman and the only one that is in this campaign, none of our names are on the ballot. It's Gavin Newsom's name. And only Gavin Newsom is the only one that we have to worry about. So anyway, all in all, keep the faith, everybody. Keep strong. Don't worry about a thing. We got this. We got this.
Mike, do you want to jump in real quick before we move
go to our first guest who's operating under duress here? It's interesting she is, and I want to really give a shout out to Roxanne here in a second. And by the way, before I forget, I know it was a delight not to hear me in Riverside last week, but a real big shout out to the Riverside team and all the things. Just all you folks are an incredible joy, again, this term of life. But it's interesting, even as Gavin goes on his nationwide tour, goes on all these shows, interesting statistics that they are trying to spin all kinds of different ways. So they come out with the statistics, and we had some great stories on this week, that 38% of only 38% of the people would vote to remove Gavin Newsom. However, there are 13.8% that are really undecided. Now, for those of you doing math at home, that means the state is already on the verge of 51% of removing Gavin from office, 38 plus 13. So we've done our job to this phase, and the next phase is going to continue to be to push it forward. Understand, even the polls that they spin back and forth, and it's never going to happen. And of course, the recall was never going to get on the ballot. Story for another day, just for Oren. But the reality is 38% people said, I want him out, and 13% of the people are going to join the California conversation and make their decision. Our goal is to get everybody to vote yes. Cordy, do you mind if I roll to our first guest here?
Roll to the first guest. Beautiful,
Okay.
man.
Roxanne is amazing. Oh, she's going to show herself live, and you have to take yourself off mute. One of my favorite people outside of the couple hundred that are on the 2,000 are on this call, of course.
Roxanne Hogue.
Hogue, thank you. I get everybody's name wrong. I got her name wrong on the live air. I'm afraid to say it. Has a resume that's just an amazing patriot, and a person that's really been with us, like our other guests tonight, really the entire journey. And the story you have is just amazing, Roxanne. And I don't know if you want to tell them where you're at tonight, but this is how much of a patriot and trooper that you are. Roxanne, the floor is yours.
I hate when people say, can you hear me? But I have to say, can you hear me?
What?
Can you hear me? Oh,
We
okay.
can
You
hear
got
you,
me.
and we
That
can
was
see
good,
your
Mike.
beautiful face.
I'm wedged into a window well at Children's Hospital, Los Angeles, with one of my 4 kids who had an appendix rupture. And we had a little exciting little surgery, but we're on the road to recovery. But it's so important for us mama bears, and your first mama bear was right. Our children have been irreparably, hopefully not irreparably, but harmed in myriad ways. Little children, big children. I too had a college graduate that was it. There was no college graduation because my kids go to school in, even though they're private schools, one private college and one private K-12 in Los Angeles County. Nobody's been to school for over 365 days. So I want to remind people, though, that Mike and Oren and everybody started this process way before COVID, because Gavin Newsom has always been an incompetent but very good-looking man with a fabulous head of hair. And should Christian Bale ever be unavailable for a Batman reboot, I would totally give him a chance, but not so good as a governor. And that is the number one message, is that he's not competent. And I love when they say this is a Republican recall in a state that where, you know, the number 2 registration is leave me the hell alone. People who just mind your own business. The fact is that he's our governor by default, because they're in a one-party system. The cream doesn't rise to the top.
Wow.
Roxanne, for those of you who haven't read your bio, and I know it's a secret between you and the couple million people that have read your bio, tell us where you're from. And you told me a powerful story when I was at One America News with you about why you see California differently maybe than most people.
Well, I'm an immigrant. I was born a British subject in the island of Jamaica, a Commonwealth country, which Meghan Markle should have figured out how that worked before she got married, but I digress. And my family fled what happens every time socialism comes to power. Rules are put in effect at the tip of a spear and a point of a gun by mobs. And I think we're all familiar with what those look like here, unfortunately. But as a kid, my mom was always almost dragged out of a car and escaped with an inch of her life for the crime of looking like she voted for the wrong party. And so we fled to the safety of America. We have nowhere else to flee to. And what I and every other immigrant who escaped the Eastern Bloc or just the Caribbean dalliance with socialism sees happening here in California is horrendously scary. Here's the good news, though. I always like to go to the bright side, is that for a few years now, sort of all of us know people who've been going, where are we moving to? Like, we got to move. We got to leave California, you know, cash out. Where do we go? There's no need to leave now. We can stay with our fabulous weather because they're California-ing the rest of the country. And every time that Gavin Newsom gets to push someone up and replace them with, you know, a one-sided assemblyman with someone else from his party, it's sowing the seeds of more destruction. California, Sacramento is the hot zone for the infection that is really bringing down the USA. So I believe in staying and fighting, and I think my hat is off to you guys. I am so proud of all of you, but especially those of you who started this and just kept fighting. Thank you.
Wow.
We very much appreciate that. For those of you that don't know, Roxanne, her being on this show and being with us the whole movement is especially powerful because there's an alleged rumor running around, and it's well known that her business is Hollywood, politely.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant. Oh, yeah. So I do.
And it's really quite a lot.
I'm an actress from like 100 years ago. I do mostly, you know, sitcoms and small movies, and I'm just a working actor. I'm not a star. But when one comes out as having an R behind one's name, that's a little dodgy. But I think anyone who's a creative person who wants to work, you talked about Scott Wiener's bills, say that carefully, but AB5, Lorena Gonzalez is doing more to destroy the entertainment community, the creative community, musicians and writers, and she's done it here, and now they've taken it national. It's another example. PRO-ACT is passing the House, passed the House, and is headed your way, the rest of the USA, which will eliminate the right to work and have forced unionization. It's not a matter of, oh, we want there to be the right to have unions. There's always been that right. It is destroying the gig economy and the ability to freelance. And that's another thing that really ticks off mama bears, because you know who likes to set their own schedule besides creative people? Moms, people who are responsible for how else can I be here at LA Children's, which is a fabulous hospital set in the middle of the nastiest streets in LA, by the way, by being able to be our own boss. And California has taken that away too. And yes, Gavin Newsom signed that and supported it.
Well,
I just want to, I want to weigh in
Go ahead,
real
Oren.
quick. I just want to say prayers over you and your family, Roxanne.
Thank you.
You know, I'm so glad that your child is being well cared for and well tended to there in your time of need. You know, our hearts go out for you, and that just shows how dedicated you are, how driven you are, the level of energy that you have to take time out of this moment in your life where your child is literally receiving emergency care, but you're taking time out to join us. It chokes me up a little bit to think about it. And I just want to thank the Lord for your well-being and say prayers. I want everybody on this call to say prayers over her and her family and her child's well-being, and the doctor's hands that are treating her family, and make sure that, you know, everybody comes out well, happy and healthy.
Thank you so much. And, you know, my mom pointed out to me this morning, we are so lucky to be in the United States of America, to have the care that we do and the amazing doctors, even though some of them look like they're the age of my son. It's horrifying to me that they're allowing young children to practice medicine like this. But look at them. It's amazing. Oh, I did want to make one other point. You guys are noted racists, and I just want to be sure that I let you know that I too am a noted racist. I've
Damn it, Roxanne!
I'm coming out.
you.
I'm coming out.
Well, Roxanne.
And if I get called racist, I think it's kind of lost its power. And racist means, oh, you're winning the argument. So congrats.
Amen to that. Absolutely. Well, I was just going to say, you know, I'm a father of a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So God bless you. Certainly, I'm going to get my entire church praying for your child, and God bless you for doing this for sure. And I was going to say, I can't wait for when you get a seat at the table and run for office, because that was the most eloquent mic drop. Just rattle it off. Eloquent, beautiful, sweet. slams that I've ever seen somebody make towards a, elected official. And I thought, absolutely amazing. Thanks for what you've done for this movement. We all really appreciate you.
Thank you. And I'm gonna jump off, but I have to say, best practice for running for office, be a parent of many teenagers. That's super good training. And I am writing a book to help other people because I'm busy. And there's so many of us here that are all able. Mama Bear, all of you should and can run because we cannot cede control of all of California any longer.
God bless you, Roxanne. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you very much. So much appreciate it. We'll see you around the corner.
Thank you. Bye, sweetie.
So I'm going to move on before we get to Miss Stella, who I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Miss Stella. Susan, are you here, gorgeous? Maybe you're making multitasking like women do. Us guys, we can't chew bubble gum and tie our shoes at the same time, but you women do like 45 things at the same time. Well, we'll get this. You there, girl?
I'm here.
Okay. You got the floor, cutie bear.
I just wanted to ask Robin. I have a question for Robin. You have done an awesome job of keeping track of the numbers coming in of petitions signed. But we don't exactly know all of the numbers that were submitted to the ROVs by paid petitioners or individuals that weren't working closely with our groups, correct? So,
Well, right. I mean, if people want to know a per county count, when they go to our web pages, they can see what the secretary has received. They can, as far as verified, they can see what the 12% goal is. But because, like Susan's saying, there were over 180,000 signatures submitted by paid circulators, we don't have a way of knowing how to disperse those 180,000 signatures among the counties. So while I can get pretty close on our county counts based on what all of our county teams submitted, I will never really know how to disperse those 180,000 signatures. Once the Secretary of State and all the counties finalize their reports, we'll see show as received, verified, and valid, and that will help us disperse those paid circulators' signatures. But until then, I can't really divide those up appropriately among the counties. Is that what you mean?
yes.
Yeah.
Plus that there's probably going to be more signatures submitted to the ROVs than we have accounted for. Like, for instance, Placer County, when our lead over there, Keith Jones, went in, he was told that there are individuals coming in on their own.
What people didn't understand is because of we all work so hard right up to the end, not only our mail rooms, but our third-party verification centers, we issued those on behalf of Orrin authorization letters to ship signatures directly from the mail rooms and from people collecting signatures on behalf of those people directly to the county. So the only people that could submit to the county had to have a letter from Orrin. So we know who they were. We just don't at this point in time have proof all those various packets were received.
So
Yes.
for the media listening in, what that means is we are at 2.1257 now, and that number is going to go up slightly. But the fact is, to Mike's point earlier, we are at statistical critical mass, and you cannot convince me that they can rescind or reject enough signatures to keep this off the ballot. We are going to the ballot, and we are going to, and Gavin Newsom's battle is no longer with Orrin Heatley and Company, or Mike Netter, Robin McCrae, or Susan, or anybody else. It is against him. It is the new battle is between Gavin Newsom and the contenders who are going to come up and vie for his job. So I see Stella Song on the video screen. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi.
Hey,
I'm
gorgeous.
so glad you can make it, and I will turn it back over to Cordy. And Cordy, if you can introduce our guest.
Well,
All right.
I'll just say, I mean, this lady, you know, has been hard charging since day one. And I know that because I wouldn't be here if you hadn't made a phone call or sent, you know, a text or a DM to Orrin. And, you know, we've talked several times. Stella, you've sent me a million different DMs with these amazing, loving sayings and suggestions. And you're just the sweetest person in the world with a great heart and, you know, a great heart for California. And God bless you. I don't think we've ever seen each other face to face. Maybe it's some rallies, but yeah. And so God bless you. I know we've talked on the phone, but great to finally meet.
Yes.
You know, my sister from a different mister.
Right. Amen. All right. Yeah, we have a great leadership team here, and I'm really excited.
What's your experience kind of been like over the past however many months, kind of being involved in the recall and being active and you know, being out there on the weekends and all that? You know, what are some of the high points that you see that have really come out of your experience with this group of patriots?
You know, I'm actually very blessed to have a team that's very diversified. A lot of them are immigrants, like from Vietnam, from Hungary, from Czechoslovakia, and everybody is very passionate because they do not want California to become, you know, communist or socialist country. And the fact remains, you know, I actually migrated from Singapore over 40 years ago, and it took me forever, like 3-4 years to get vetted. And then my brother had to put up a liability bond of $25,000 each to make sure that we will not be a liability to the state. And now you're looking at open borders, and Biden is paying what? Is setting aside $4.83 billion for illegals. And we are working so hard, and all the money goes to the illegals. Why? Because they are, you know, they're getting all the votes. And that's why the Democrats have been in power for the last 40 years. And in fact, I actually was getting ready to leave California because my daughter and her family left California, and I was about to leave. But the Lord prompted me that wherever I run to is going to soon catch up with us unless we stay and fight. And many of our grassroots volunteers too are doing the same thing. And we are so passionate, you know, and basically, you know, I even have to, I'm actually retired. I used to be a bank manager, but I retired, and then I still have my financial services business, but I actually set it aside because I feel that this is very important. Just like Mike Netter, right? He's setting aside his business to pursue and make sure this recall is successful. And I'm really passionate. Mm-hmm.
Stella, I thought, well, first of all, on the end of Mike's name, there's an S on the end of the R. So it's Netters. Just to make sure you knew that.
Really?
Yeah, some
Okay.
people get confused. I wanted to make
No,
I don't know.
running joke.
And anyway, I
And
speak funny anyways,
and,
because I come from,
I thought all the teams out there helping with the recall were all white people because I've been reading all this. Wow,
A
I can't believe it
lot
took
of
words.
Vietnamese, a lot of, you know, from communist country, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and we're very passionate. I wasn't from a communist country, but in fact, we were on the call with Orrin the other day with the Chronicles or something like that. And the Chinese people were complaining about the Chinese virus, and they're very upset with Orrin, right, Orrin? And I
That's
say,
right.
look, take ownership. The virus was from China, so it's a Chinese virus. Just like the African Ebola is from Africa.
Well,
so take ownership, right?
So Stella, you have said two things. You've said two things that are going to get me in a lot of trouble now.
Oh,
You called the illegal, I mean the migrants illegal. I don't know what to call them now.
Not you. I did.
I know. But and then the China virus, you can't say that anymore.
Oh, but it is. You know, I'm Chinese. I'm Chinese, and you know, I don't care. I'm not ashamed to claim that it is a Chinese virus. You know.
Well, you know, historically, traditionally, you had the Spanish flu, and it was named for
the swine
region,
flu, right?
the region that it came from. Ebola, the Ebola virus is a river where the virus was first detected, right?
Exactly, right.
So historically, you know, I don't want to get mired in the weeds. You know, I don't want to go too far off tangent as far as, you know, what a virus is named or what it's not named. It is not a racial component. It's merely a reference for where it originated, period, end of story.
Can I say
something? You have to be racially sensitive towards water tributaries and rivers, just so you understand.
I want to say something. First off, Stella, God bless you and all the texts you send us and for everything you've done in Orange County. And I've also got to jump in. Randy and I were on the phone today with the Chronicle, who sent this very colored chart, right, that they pulled down of density of population and all this stuff back and forth. And Randy pulled me on the call. And it goes in line with an article I saw from the LA Times trying to explain how this could possibly happen. Wasn't that really the crux of the call, Randy? It's trying to figure out, and you talk to political strategists and doing all this stuff back and forth.
They basically now have a color-coded chart that the media is now compiling in regards to who has signed this and what party are they, even already trying to get down to ethnicity. And it's just, it's crazy the amount of analysis that's going on from everybody's signatures that are on this our petition. So it's ironic, but it's kind of laughable in the same way that there's so much attention to who's signing these things, and I don't know. It's just crazy, guys.
Well, you know what I find nuts here, just to go on for 1 second, now that my mic's back this week, I got to make up for it, right? Yeah. But what's fascinating is when you hear Gavin, this all really is stemming, and we know there was an articles out, the press is an extension of Gavin, certain portions of them, or try to back it up. But little research this week, there have been 55 recalls, attempted recalls in the history of California for the governor of the state. Gavin gets on there and goes, well, I can't believe that I've been in office six times they've done it. And I feel like if I could call Gavin, I would go, dude, you don't get it? Regardless of diversity, race, ethnicity, where you're from, whatever you call the virus by name, people don't like you as governor.
Exactly.
And that's really what it comes down to. And the press is trying to spin these statistics. And I pointed out today that pretty much everybody from every county signed, and Stella, to your point and having everybody on, pretty much across the board, people just don't like Gavin. And he's literally looking in the mirror going, I'm good looking.
Yeah.
How is this possible that somebody as good looking and as attractive as me, no one likes?
Well, you know, the other thing, Mike, is I thought that was kind of interesting today because the reporter Dustin Gardner, who we work with every day, and I've been working with him every day for 4 months now, 4.5 months. The question he kept saying is, I can't believe that there's only 85 or less than 10,000 people who have signed this from San Francisco, and you know, this is
50,000.
And I know, but it was like in their eyes, all it's about is San Francisco. And once he realizes that California is not San Francisco, it's California. And you get outside, he wanted to know how come some of the rural areas and some of the urban areas had a high percentage of people signing them, and we said, you know, because maybe you need to get out of San Francisco and talk to the people of California, because that's
So
what
I have some questions for Sonia, and I'd like to talk with her directly if I could. Sonia.
No, I'm Stella. I'm Stella.
Stella, sweetheart, I am so sorry. I was.
We're gonna
thanking
start
Sonia
calling
because
Orange senile.
I was reading text messages because I'm coming down to Huntington Beach to visit with Sonia and her crew, Sonia Green.
Stella.
And Stella sung, God bless you, sweetheart. You know that I sorry for that. But I have a question for you. We have people that have worked with you and your team who are they're immigrants and they're from other cultures, and they are very afraid of being made public with their involvement. Is that right?
No, they're actually very, very public about it. Basically,
Okay.
they're very public. Yeah. Why? I mean,
Well,
why should they say hi?
We had opened up a group in the Slavic community, and it didn't flourish. And the reports that I got back was that they were very afraid of the direction that this government was going, and they didn't want to be outed for fear of retaliation.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Okay, no problem. This is off the
Okay.
cuff and from the heart.
Okay. Okay.
Let me jump
Lauren,
in.
do you remember Tina? She did share that with us.
And that
Yes.
was what I was, and there's another person, but I don't want to use their name because I don't want to out them, publicly. But yeah, there were a couple of people that were very fearful of being outed in their local communities down there. But that's not something, Stella, that's not something that you have to talk to. That's a story for another day, as Mike likes to say.
Yeah, I mean, if they're afraid of being, public and refuse to take action, then what's going to happen? The worst thing is this state is going to, this whole country, we don't have a country anymore. If everybody is afraid, we need to be fearless. We need to step up. We need to rise up and
Yes, ma'am.
not cower down and be like walking zombies. That's what a lot of people are doing. They bury their head in the sand and pretend that nothing is happening, or they let some other people do it, because they don't want to get hurt. But wait till, it's just like the Noah's days, right? When the flood comes, it's too late. It's too late.
Just like I've always told everybody, if you're afraid of getting involved and you're afraid of the retaliation that might happen if you put your name or a donation to this recall, you should be more afraid if you fail to take action.
Exactly.
Which is a good lead into what I want to say here. People are asking about what's next steps and what are we going to do. Statistically, because I'm a statistics guy, everybody pretty much on this call, and they're probably listening to this, has stepped up and signed the recall, and we've got it done. The next steps to me are fairly simple, to Oren's point, to Stella's point, to everybody here. Remember the poll I quoted about 20 minutes ago that said 13% of the people, they may be decided, but 13.8% are kind of undecided, according to polls, how they would vote. If they would vote yes, what they would do. Our mission, we need to keep up for the next 3 or 4 months, is this. It's still recallgavin2020.com, all right? We need to make sure that we keep spreading that word, that frankly, we keep able to be fund the radio show and everything else that we're doing to keep the heat on. Gavin thinks that if he throws enough mud, will go away. To Oren's point, to Stella, what you're saying, people are afraid to speak up. We have to make them not afraid to speak up. And we do that by keeping this movement going. Our next steps Now that we know we're going to make the ballot, God bless all of you on this journey of my personal life.
Amen. Mhm.
Our next steps are simply this. We have to keep publicizing and pushing why Gavin needs to be recalled. Gavin is running against his mayor himself, all right? And we have to keep reminding people why he's running against himself. We need to keep telling the public through publicity and all the methods that we use to get out there to get these signatures to continue. The 2.1 we've gathered needs to multiply into about 8 million in terms of votes by keeping up this fantastic move we've all built together to recall Gavin Newsom and take back California.
And
That's
I want to chime in real quick because I'm getting some feedback. And Christine, thank you so much for your input. And the reason that we are bringing up the fact that Gavin Newsom has made or taken exception to the use of the term Chinese virus or the Asian virus or the Wuhan flu and things like that is because this governor is trying to mire us down in the weeds due to this terminology. And he's trying to associate this terminology with me and my team and the recall in order to drive a wedge between the Asian community and the recall. He is trying to use that terminology against us to try and drive a wedge between the support of the Asian community and this recall, because he knows that those terms are, you know, they're offensive to some. We understand.
Can I make a
that.
suggestion? Can I make
Yes,
a
ma'am.
suggestion?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to contact all the Vietnamese and the Chinese volunteers. Actually, it should be multiracial. It should be the Latinos and even the Hungarians and everybody else to basically go interview people and do a short video, like maybe 30 seconds, and say, I support recall Gavin Newsom. Why? Just 30 seconds.
Hey, Stella.
And then we need to post it in the Facebook.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Stella, one thing
Totally
I'd like to
agree.
do is I'd like to coordinate a group of Asian American leaders from all over California, possibly with you heading this, to actually do a with all the members of the media to kind of, you know, talk about why you support the recall and how important it is to be able to get this governor out of office. And if we can, I'll be more than glad to go ahead and coordinate it, because the media every day they're looking for stories.
And a lot of people have, you know, even within certain cultural circles, a lot of people have their own reasons for supporting the recall. And my point is that we don't want to allow Gavin Newsom the opportunity to drive a wedge between our cultures and make this a race war versus here you have a middle-aged, wealthy, white male politician who is pulling the race card. How that happens, I don't know. But this is not about race. It has never been about race. This is an all-inclusive movement. We are a unifying force. We are galvanizing Californians.
Amen.
From across all political spectrum, from across the aisles, and we are bringing people together. What I have to say is, do not allow them the narrative that are going to split us apart, because they're trying to divide and conquer, and we can't allow them to do that.
You know,
we will not be divided, and we will conquer.
I went. The great thing is that we had while we were going through this hit piece, I guess you could say, that this newspaper put together against us this week. We were, Stella, thank you for jumping on the phone when we did, like, with no time, no notice. And you were so eloquent, and you were so passionate, and you were so powerful. And then this is absolutely the true story. So we get done with the article, right? and they publish it, and there's no comments from Stella in the article, and there's no comments
Wow.
about us addressing this. So I called the reporter up and I said, and I kid you not, this is what she said. I said, well, what happened to, how come you didn't put the comments from Stella on it? She goes, we didn't have enough space in the article.
Oh,
I
yeah?
said, the internet, there is no space issues in regards to what you can say on an interview in regards to the internet.
They
So that was
canceled
their
me out.
reason why they couldn't include an actual credible response to their charges through Senator Scott Wiener's charges and all the other people that at that press conference that day that blasted us for an hour. They wouldn't even let us to have space on the internet to get our message out. That's
No
how
kidding.
awful these people are.
Wow.
And by the way,
How do
I
we
have a
counteract?
message. I have a message for Scott Wiener.
Uh-oh.
My great grandmother migrated from Hungary to escape the Holocaust. I have deep rooted Jewish background. I'm very proud of that. And for him to attack that is incredible. The people who made the banners and posters that they're taking exception to have zero. They have no ties to this campaign. We have no connection with them. I don't even know where the hell those came from, but they do not represent us and we do not support them. But for you to call me out as anti-Semitic, I'm sorry, Scott, you got no standing. You have no voice in our community. And we are going to fight tooth and nail to reverse the legislation that you did that was so damaging to our culture.
And I want to add to that, Orrin, just so on record, both my sets of grandparents, were Jewish, fled again Europe, and I rarely am, I've got a pretty thick skin, but to say I found that insulting is over the top, period.
Well, I'm gonna, since we're having a cleansing of sorts, and pardon the pun, since we're having a cleansing of sorts, and pardon the pun, you know, what I was gonna say is just, you know, I'm a former Marine. I'm a father of 2 kids. I'm a 4th generation veteran. You know, my family, we're mutts. We're 50% Welsh, 50% this. My wife is half Turkish. Most of my family, half my family is from New York. You know, Dr. Jay Hand is one of my dear friends. And my comments that I've made about the leader that happens to inhabit the house in Sacramento that's going to be out in one of the homeless encampments soon by himself. The comments that I've made about him were not directed towards any particular community. The comments or any ethnicity, race, gender, culture, whatever, I'll just say that. And we know what was put out and we know who did a press conference yesterday. My comments were towards the way he has led and the similarities in the ideology, the one-sided narrative that he's creating, how he's trying to divide people, and how he's trying to spread that across California, and the policies or lack thereof that he's had, whether it be about COVID, whether it be about taxation, like someone mentioned earlier about you know, migrants, legal versus illegal. Just it's draconian and it's tyrannical. And so my comparison was only drawn because of the way he's shown up from a policy standpoint. But
anyway, I'm proud of everybody on this team because you know, this is your first trip to the rodeo as far as, you know, being in the public light, and it's hard. You know, it's really hard to have people take punches at you, and you want to stand up and you want to scream and you want to shout, and so you know, I feel everybody's pain. And this was a tough week. I'm not going to sit and say it wasn't a tough week. It was a tough week, but we stood our truth, and we have nothing to be afraid of and nothing to be ashamed of. And everybody here on this call, you're all heroes in my book. And you know, this is we're taking down the governor of the largest state in America. And of course he's going to fight back. He's just fighting back in a very, very dirty way that is out of a playbook from, 50 years ago. This is politics from the past. It's not supposed to be about politics from now. And that's how desperate they are.
And just a reminder, we're going to continue to fight back before we leave the air here tonight on our radio show, KABC, Friday nights at the French Laundry. Sorry to the French people out there. I guess I should throw that in. But Friday nights at the French Laundry, we need to continue to fund that show to continue our fight, but we are on. Randy Orn's going to be, I think Stella's going to be with you this Friday night, but we're going to have Eric Early on that show. We're going to have Joe Collins on that show, and we're going to have Angela Marson talking about what's done to small business. So Friday nights at the French Laundry, 7 to 9. Encourage everybody to listen, not just to hear my quips, if you will, but also to understand that this is what we need to do to continue for our next steps to keep the word out there alive, keep this moving so we will not be divided and we will conquer. And with that note, we're at 7:40 right now. God bless all of you. It's going to be a really fun weekend for us. Stella, look forward to seeing you. Right?
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. And for everybody out there, we tend to go a lot of things in these 45 minutes now, almost an hour. But remember, folks, we got it done. We did what no one on that bloody planet thought a bunch of people could actually united. 2.2 million Californians so far.
2.125. Stop exaggerating.
Yeah, close enough. Ones we didn't count. 2.2 amongst friends in a common cause to take back our state and keep our freedom going across all bands of all everything. God bless you all. I'll see you Friday night in the radio along with Randy.
And don't forget, we have our God Almighty on our side. Amen.
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 All right.
God bless you guys. See you next
God
week.
bless.
God bless you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.